Manchester United's plans for 2026 are becoming much clearer. But are we going in the right direction? We're going to talk about the latest on Maresca. United will not be pursuing him. Ollie, Carrick, what is the latest? Decision tomorrow, what's happening in the meetings? It's very clear we're bringing in an interim to the end of the season, and it will probably be Ollie or Carrick. More manager links for long term. Who are the managers we're looking at to bring in long term in the summer? Romano speaks on 2026 midfield transfer plans, speaks on January, speaks on the summer. The transfer plans are becoming clear. Baleba and Anderson, Carlos Baleba. Darren Fletcher speaks about progress that he saw in the Burnley game. We'll talk about Mainoo, we'll talk about the youth and more if we get time. But hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute roundup video. If you're new to the channel, every single evening on the channel, I do a video where I round up all the news today in 10 minutes. Let's dive into it by just starting by clearing up some rumours on Maresca. Maresca was sacked 3-4 days before Ruben Amorim, so obviously we didn't get linked to Maresca. Have they sacked Amorim because they want to bring in Maresca? He worked with Barada, la la la. Maresca was sacked because he fought out with the Chelsea leadership. He wanted more control. Maresca was a head coach, but he wanted to be more of a manager. He wanted more control. Ruben Amorim wanted more control at Man United. He didn't like being told what to do. He didn't like being told what formation to play. Maresca isn't going to come to Manchester United because it's a very similar ownership model, and Maresca will not want to work under that. Maresca's also being tapped up by Manchester City. He's probably got his head on Manchester City. He's probably going to go there to replace Pep at the end of the season. But there's been a lot of links of Maresca to Man United because it probably gets clicks. And luckily, Romano cleared this up. He said on Enzo Maresca to United links from Italy. From Manchester United, the message is a different kind of coach for the summer and not for now. This is why the links from Italy and Maresca taking the Manchester United job immediately is something I'm told are not concrete. Maresca could come in the summer. We may go for Maresca in the summer, but I think if we were going to go for Maresca, we'd probably go for him now because he's available. I don't think we'd bring an interim just to get Maresca in the summer who's available. I think if we wanted Maresca, something would have been done by now, and I think Romano's pretty much cleared that up. So let's talk about Man United's plans. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will hold face-to-face talks with Man United on Saturday. Understand that Michael Carrick has already met CEO Omar Barada and Director of Football Jason Wilcox. I believe Ollie was at a funeral today or tomorrow, which is why he couldn't do his meeting then. They met Carrick yesterday. They're meeting Ollie tomorrow. I think it's very much, we will know Saturday, maybe Sunday, but I think we'll probably know tomorrow who it's going to be and what the situation is going to be. But look, best case scenario for me is Ollie working with Carrick. I think Carrick is a better coach if you're looking at the coaching side of things. I think Ollie is a better man manager when it comes to like bringing that vibe back to United, and I think that is an underrated thing, getting the dressing room back on side, getting a bit of United DNA in. You know, it wouldn't be my picks as an interim manager, but we need an interim manager that's going to be popular with the players. We need an interim manager that understands the club. And ultimately, look, it's an interim manager. I think there will be some fans that will be expecting the interim manager to change us, transform us, and play amazing football. I don't think that's going to be the case. I still think the squad is missing key midfield profiles, but it should hopefully help guide Man United in a better direction. But ideally, I'd like both of them to work together, a little bit like the older days, rather than just one or the other. Several solutions have been outlined. Solskjaer as head coach, with or without Carrick as assistant. Carrick as head coach, or that current interim coach, Fletcher, keeps the job until the end of the season. I think it will probably be Ollie. I think it'll probably be Ollie. The thing is, we don't know if Carrick wants to work alongside Ollie. I think Carrick, with the experience and the job that he's done in Middlesbrough, which was quite impressive, would probably be looking himself to be the main man. Anyway, let's continue. So that's what we know about Man United's current plans for the manager situation. I'm sure we will get confirmation this weekend. But Thomas Tuchel, Carlo Ancelotti, and Mauricio Pochettino are on Manchester United's shortlist for the next permanent head coach. We know that Ineos are fans of Poch. We know that Carlo Ancelotti could be open to the job. And we know that Thomas Tuchel had reservations when we sat to Nag about taking the Man United job, but will be available after the World Cup if we choose to go for him. I think what Man United want to do is they realise they've effed up last time with Amorim, and I think Man United want to go for a coach that is maybe a bigger coach, a bigger name that they're sure on. There is rumours that we want Glasner. I do have concerns about Glasner. You look at Thomas Frank at Tottenham, could it go the same way? Same with Iriola. I think, you know, the scenario is either Ollie does really well and they keep Ollie or Carrick. They might bring McKenna in as a transition from Ollie or Carrick, or they maybe go for a bigger name like a Tuchel if they believe they can get him. But I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I think Man United's plan is becoming clear. Ole or Carrick is going to take over to the end of the season. In the summer, I think we're going to be looking at the Tuchels, the Zerbis, the Poch, the Glasners. I think that's who we'll be looking at. I think Elliot Anderson and Baleba, we're going to target. Sorry, we were targeting summer. I said in January, not now. Sorry, I just had to change my slide there. I didn't read it through. Elliot Anderson and Baleba will target in summer, not now. We also know Man United plan to sign a left wing in summer. Now, we've been linked to Yan Diamonde at left wing. I'd rather go for someone like Njai. I think proven experience is something that we need because we can bring in loads of young players, but they're raw and they're not ready now. I think United need to get proven now. But Romano was asked about Anderson, the midfield situation, what's going on inside Man United, and he said this. In terms of Elliot Anderson, he said there's no clear front runner yet, with a move expected in summer, not January. He said that for Elliot Anderson. Anderson is very high on United's shortlist alongside Baleba. Now, we know that Baleba probably will choose us over other clubs. We don't know that about Elliot Anderson, but we hope that about Elliot Anderson. United are busy to be planning in midfield in 2026 with Anderson in their plans. Romano has confirmed that Baleba and Anderson are both in our summer transfer plans. We're planning to do a lot of work in the midfield in 2026, and we want both those players. Expect strong competition with clubs like City and potentially Chelsea, of course Chelsea, even though they've spent 100 million on Enzo Caicedo, to be in the mix. United have discussed Anderson internally multiple times and are expected to be serious contenders. I would love to get Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson would be the dream. And as I said there, I think Elliot Anderson and Baleba is who we're going to go for in the summer. I think we should push for Baleba now. I guess unless Brighton literally just want to take the mick with price. I think a left wing there. It looks like this is what Man United want to do in the summer. But will fans like it? Because that's brilliant in the summer, Anderson and Baleba, but we need to do something now. We need to do something for that midfield now, especially now we're going to be playing a midfield 3 and not midfield 2. We need more midfielders. And I just can't believe it. It doesn't matter if there's an interim manager or not. It doesn't matter who the manager is. Everyone's known Man United's needing a midfielder for more than a year. So just bring one in because the next manager is going to need to work with a midfielder regardless. You know, whether it's Ruben Neves for 15 million, James Garner 15 million, that's not going to hurt you. But someone commented on my last video and I think it was spot on. It cost them 15 million to sack Amorim. That's where the money's gone for James Garner or Ruben Neves. And that might be the case. They spent so much money on sacking Dan Ashworth and Ruben Amorim. The ownership's been wasting 25, 30 million like that. It's a disgrace. Anyway, a lot of people were telling me that I was deluded for thinking that, you know, even though we dropped points to Burnley, there were positive signs. We dropped points to Burnley. It's not good enough. We shouldn't be dropping points to Burnley, and that is bad. But I felt that it was a better performance. And a couple of people are saying it wasn't a better performance, it was the same old. But I went, did you see the Wolves performance? Le Mans kept us in the game. We could have dropped points at home to Wolves. Did you see the Everton performance, the West Ham performance? I don't think Burnley was great. But if you look at the Burnley game at home at the beginning of the season, we won that game because Burnley had a goal ruled out for very, very narrow offside that no one really knows it was offside or not. And we got a nice penalty. We won that game. It was chaos. We didn't win this game against Burnley, but I felt we should have won. And I think Fletcher's spot on. Handling disappointment in football is everything. People are striving for perfection. Look at the game the other night. We conceded one shot on target and draw 2-2. You've got to be able to deal with them constantly. That's the problem. You know, some people are saying it's just as bad as every other week. But it was better, that performance versus Burnley. We didn't win, and that's a disgrace. But, it was the first goal was fluky deflection. They only had one shot on target and got 2 goals. They had 2 goal line clearances. We hit the crossbar twice. Aiden Heather missed a sitter. Sesko probably could have scored another. You know, we had a fair goal ruled out. Carl Walker's just an idiot. I did see some positive signs, and I'm hoping we can take that into Brighton. But look, I don't know. Darren Fletcher's got no managerial experience. I don't really expect him to turn it around. But I was quite happy to see that more positive signs, more attacking intent from United. I thought we looked better. There has been rumours of Kobbie Mainoo leaving United. Darren Fletcher says he seems in a good place. I know him well. I've known him for a long time. I know Kobbie. He's comfortable. He's trained well. There's now a feeling Kobbie will stay now Ruben Amorim has been sacked. He only wanted to go to get minutes because Ruben Amorim was kind of ignoring him. So Kobbie should be fine. And Darren Fletcher spoke about the academy and how the club is historically built on the academy and how we have to be careful with the young players because they're not perfect. They're young and learning, but it is important that, you know, we remember the club is built on academy and we remember that this is an attacking football club. And I think Ruben Amorim, ultimately, the people above Ruben Amorim are the biggest problem. And I don't think they fully backed Ruben Amorim. And I think, you know, the people above Ruben Amorim probably lied to him and failed him. But Ruben Amorim just felt so anti-Man United. It was so defensive to football. It was so anti-youth. And I think the interim job is to just get a bit of that United DNA back. And people will say, forget about the United DNA. but we were winning trophies when we had the United DNA. That's the aim. We need to win trophies. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below on all the news. Thank you for watching. Bye.